We've got a very special Parisi podcast. The boys are back. We're so back. Chasey, Chad Coy, Casey Lee. I think this hopefully becomes a regular thing in 2026. Training talk featuring maybe, I think you've gotten this before, Chad. If not, you definitely apply for a lot of people. You might be the person I know who has done the most training sessions. Like, you've trained more yourself physically. You have completed more training sessions than I think anyone that I know.
Venture to say yes, because I train at least 4 times a week and have since 1980.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
People
and
can
like
do
I said, I've only missed and now I've missed 30 workouts in my life. So
that's crazy. That is crazy. We have reoccurring guest Chad Coy back on the Parisi podcast today, Zoom style. So if you're watching on the YouTube, you'll see Chad's background, my background. We're vibing, we're thriving. And if you are listening, however you listen to podcasts, then just continue business as usual. But the boys are back, and Chad has been called in because I have some serious questions on cardiovascular training, call it what you want, for strength-based athletes. This is the Parisi Performance Podcast. And I think there's a myth, Chad. There's 2 myths that I'm on a quest for in 2026 that I need to talk to people about. It's the inverse of each other. Strength training for endurance-based athletes, and then cardiovascular training, speed training, cardio training. I know they're different, but they can kind of fall on the same side of the coin, so to speak, for strength-based athletes. And I was thinking to myself, I know a strength-based athlete. His name's Chad Coy, master's level strongman, active competitor, former Division I football player. Shout out.
Wait a second. No, wait, time out. Go back there. Walk on. There's a difference between, I want to delineate this, and I want to delineate it very hard. Walk-ons are walk-ons. Scholarship athletes are scholarship athletes. Do not mix the two together. Do not insult the walk-on, and do not insult the D1 athlete on a full
I think I just said former Division I
walk-on.
player.
You're a walk-on.
Former Division I football player. Is that a correct phrase?
No, it's not, because I was a walk-on. I walked on. I want to make sure that's put up straight. I walked on. There's a big difference. Dummies that walk themselves on the field and get beat up and walk themselves off are dummies.
Okay. So I can see. I want to delineate that. Okay.
I want to delineate that, because to give all the people who got full ride scholarships props, and not to give walk-ons our props. Give them props because they walked on. It's
props. That's what I'm saying. It's props. If you want to know more about Chad and Chad's background, you should listen to the first episode that Chad did. I believe you were like episode 5. You might be the most downloaded Parisi podcast episode. Did you know that? Did you know you have that title? I believe you are.
That's crazy.
It's either you or Catalin.
She's way cooler. I'm much better to look at. She probably smells better too.
You're both very cool. Both have very different backgrounds, but both, I think I'll have to double check on that. You might still be the most downloaded and listened to episode. So go back and check that out. I believe it's like episode 4 or 5. I'll put the specific.
I think it's 4. I remember. I remember doing it at the summit. Then I remember so much later it came out. So
that's very.
Generally, after
true. I'm
a big one-touch guy. If we did the webinar, I don't go back and watch other webinars.
I don't either. I existed in it, so I don't need to go back and actually I was because we had some major sound issues on the first dozen episodes that I did on my own outside of the summit. Even the one in the summit, we had some sound issues. So they have since been resolved, and Zoom typically takes care of all sound issues.
That's perfect.
So,
that's perfect.
Yeah. We're ready
let's dive. Hey, let's quit diatribing of our stuff and let's dive into this. I mean, really, it's kind of a 2-part question. Strength athletes, and I don't want to call it cardio. I'm going to call it conditioning.
I like it.
I think there's speed training, conditioning, cardio. They can be similar or the same, but they don't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then retrospectively, when you're saying, do endurance athletes need to strength train? Yes.
I know. That is a different podcast episode. That is, but on 2026, I want to dive into that specifically because I feel like there's a big need. But for today, I want to talk cardio, conditioning, conditioning for strength-based athletes? And I have some questions. Do you want me to tee up a couple?
Yeah, no, tee up the questions. Let's just go, man. Let's get it going.
Specifically for a gentleman such as yourself, can you just talk a little bit about the difference between event-specific conditioning versus a general aerobic base?
Okay. Like event conditioning. So if you're looking in strongman, there's numerous kinds of events. So carries, that could be a yoke walk, it could be an opponent's wheel, it could be a farmer's walk. I mean, and then most of those are set for a set weight for either maximum distance or a set distance. So you have to look at the conditioning for that. I mean, what do you need to condition? If you're carrying, let's just say, let's say there's a yoke walk and it's a 1,000-pound yoke. I mean, there's a limited number of 1,000-pound yokes you can do. Okay. Now yoke that's the event. So do you train that? Can you make that conditioning? Can you make that for speed? Can you make that for load? So the answer to that for all those is yes. So then how do you program that? Like, how much time do you have? Again, so like right now, the first big show of the year is the Arnold Strongman Classic. And that's for the pros. That's the big pro show. So then you're looking at, what are you conditioning for that? How long are the events? How long is the event lasting? Well, there's a huge difference between a minute and 20 seconds and 60 seconds. Totally different conditioning there. One's completely anaerobic, and the other's it kind of borders anaerobic aerobic. So you have to look at all those, and then you look, how much time do you have? And again, I'm going to steal this term because most people call it an off season. I do a lot of work with Joe Ken, and I want to give Joe Ken the most props I can, because the guy's, honestly, I'm going to say this, the guy's fucking forgotten more about strength training than most people ever know. Okay? Mm-hmm. And when it comes to conditioning athletes, you think this guy was NCAA 2-time strength coach of the year and NFL strength coach of the year. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when I defer to guys like that, again, I would count him as one of my mentors, one of my friends. I mean, hell, I talked to him 5 minutes before I talked to you. So
hell yeah,
just fresh in my mind. He literally just wrote a whole manual on conditioning for strength athletes, which he's been my coach for several years. So I've got to experience a lot of it. So, I mean, you can bring I would just say, just when it looks at conditioning, just learn to understand this. You're going to get very comfortable being uncomfortable, and you're going to learn to embrace the suck a lot. Right. Okay. So then you look at, what are you playing with? Again, understanding the parameters of the event coming up. From a general capacity work, how much work do these big guys need? And then you're also putting in strength training. So everything's an inroad into your ability to recover. So you have to look at recoverability. What's the what's the minimum effectable dose of stimulus, and then what can you recover from? Those are totally different things. And when you're looking at a contest like a strongman, and you're asking for strength athletes, so strongman contest, how long does the event last? So the Arnolds and the Rogue have longer lasting events. So one event was up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's an eternity when you're lifting heavy ass stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're doing a 1,000-pound yoke, it's 20 meters. That might be 8 seconds worth of work. So you don't have to train a ton for that. What you have to train for is the ability, once you've had this maximal output, how fast do you recover after the event? Mm-hmm. So you'll see guys will do an event and they'll be laying on the ground dead. Okay. They're just not in shape. You shouldn't. I mean, training is way harder than any contest because you can do it multiple times. If you're at a contest and you're doing one event, let's say, for instance, this year at the Arnold's, they're doing a circus dumbbell. So they have 10 different dumbbells. They have to pick a weight. They have to do one rep on the heaviest dumbbell beats any other reps before. So how much conditioning you really there? That's really, really anaerobic power. There's a lot of technique there. Now you flip that to the second day, has a log clean and press. So the log clean and press is a 385 log, which is a pretty stout log for most people. Put in perspective, my best log ever was in contest was 350 pounds.
So heavy.
Now that's a 385, and then there's a 430 log. So now the 430 log, it's a 90-second event. So you have to have enough anaerobic capacity to go 90 seconds. But you think you're hitting a close to a max log every rep. I mean, so I'll take Trey Mitchell as one of my athletes. He's about a 490 log presser. So this is 430. So it's really about 90% of his 1RM, approximately, and you've got 90 seconds for max reps. So there's a technical component of the technique, but then there's also the better your condition, the better you can actually have the capacity. Like you're gassed, but you can keep going. So, and again, specifically for Trey, so I'll talk about Trey. We do a ton. I mean, he's got a skier, he's got a bike, an echo bike, and he's got a Concept 2 rower. So we do a ton of what I would call interval training there. I can blend that in with lots of sled work, sled drag, sled pushes. Something Joe's been doing a lot with, and I've been playing with it, is just like low level capacity work. So you're just working. So let's just say we're going to do, and again, I don't want to divulge too much of Joe's stuff. This is Joe's stuff that I've used, and he's used on me. Let's say maybe we've got 10 sets. So we're going to do 10. I mean, you know how bad a half-mile echo bike sprint sucks, right?
They're all right there, right in the background, the erg and the bike.
I can see it. Okay, so let's say that's going to take, how long is that going to take the average person to do a half mile? Okay, now we look at that. What's world class on that? How can you make it repeatable? Okay, so my best time on a half mile is 45 seconds, and that's like when I was in really top shape.
Yeah.
Trey can do that in about 42 seconds, which is insane. Now,
normal humans are like a minute to a minute 20. Normal Gen Pop people, right?
Gen Pop people, I'm going to say minute 15 to a minute 30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, again, I'm using it as a way to train that anaerobic capacity. So how often can you do that? Well, if you're going completely into the paint every set, you got to have longer and longer rest periods, or you can't have the output. So how do you start that? Like, okay, hey, we're doing half mile. This week, we're going to start with 6 half miles. 6 half miles. Well, that takes you, and if you look at from training and how much rest you need, so I might start 6 half miles and go maximum effort. And now whatever that time was, times 3, that's your rest period. And now we do that again. And then here's the results. So we just look, can we match those results? Now we just take that, for me personally, let's just say it's 6. And it's whatever that comes up. Let's say it's 60 seconds. So now we're resting 30 seconds or 3 minutes. So can I keep getting that output up there, but then can I lower the rest periods? So that's going to elicit a response. Could I add more volume? Could I add a 7th rep, an 8th rep, whatever? You play with that to see where you're getting that output at. And then can you maintain it? And at that same point, those conditioning sessions, do those affect your strength training? Because these are again, it's conditioning. Strongman is strength. Be able to move. There's a lot of technique there. So there's just so much to build in there. So whether it's a bike, a skier, a Concept 2 rower, like I start every session with some type of aerobic / anaerobic work. Mm-hmm. So your warm-up's going to start. So for instance, one of my guys tonight, he's got it's a glide. I call it a glide. It's 2-minute glide, half mile hammer, and then you're going to move on into your readiness or into your traditional warm up. So you've done your general warm up. You come here, bike. Now you're going to go. It's an upper body session for this guy, so it's a lot of banded pull downs, rows, uprights, presses, just to get blood flow in the upper body. 30 reps with the bands. And there's like 5 movements there. Go through that, come back to the bike that slow grind, and then another half mile. Go back through the readiness again for the upper body. Do that 3 times. Okay. What ends up happening? Your general physical preparedness goes up because now my heart rate is up, mm-hmm. and I've got to elevate it. Your heart doesn't know whether it's sprinting, biking, running. There's other activities that you can do to raise your heart rate. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly.
All your heart rate, which you got 2 kids, so you're not doing a lot. Come on, we gotta have some fire.
I know.
But how do we raise that? How do we raise that capacity? So this GPP up front, we'll just raise that GPP. Now, how I do my strength training is I cluster movements together. So we'll do 2 to 3, maybe 4 movements together in a cluster. So we just keep your heart rate high. I know you got to do, for this, you need 5 minutes rest. Well, you're staying around doing what for 5 minutes? So yes, I might squat, I might do a leg curl, I might do a core movement. By the time I come back to my next squat, it's been 5 minutes, but I haven't stood there looking at the bar. I got to do other stuff. And maybe that's just my adult ADD kicking in, and I've got to do stuff, and I got a lot of energy, but it tends to work. It tends to build work capacity during the session. Now, at the tail end of that session, when all the real work's done, can we throw in some more conditioning? This is where shuttle work comes in. And this is where, again, low-level shuttle work. Now, if the flip side,
I've always seen you shuffling and running different shuttles, 20 yards, 5, 10, 5s. Like I've been training occasionally with you throughout the years. I always see you get on your feet, and I always see you moving, like literally moving, like you're saying. Shuttle work.
Again,
it's a lot of agility.
I think the thing is there's a lot of change in direction in strongman. So if you're loading a bag, you're going from farmer's walk to a yoke walk to a sled drag. You look at that, and I always watch these, and I watch these big guys, and they're big guys, generally big guys. Well, everyone's big. But these 400-pound guys, they finish one movement, and then they walk their happy ass to the other. Well, okay, if that talks you 3 seconds, but we could do it in half a second, what's going to win? Speed.
Yeah.
Speed's going to win. Speed's going to win every event. So you've got to be fast in between the implements. The only way to be fast is to actually still be an athlete. Yeah, and again, I love Trey, and I've been training Trey for a long time. It's been a while since he was a high school athlete. Okay. His biggest thing is his movement mechanics. And he goes down, it's funny because he's down in Texas. He's real close to Ben Jones. So he has gone over to Ben, and Ben's worked with his mechanics. That's huge. I mean, being faster. I mean, if you look at it, who's winning? The best athletes win strongman. The strength athletics. It's not just the big meathead guy. If it was, my guy would win every time because he's strong. He's statically stronger than everybody.
Yeah.
But he has to be able to move. So that's why every athlete's different. He has to work a lot more on movement. So at the tail end of the workout, could you use a sandbag? Could you use farmer's walks? Could you use yoke? Like my last conditioning session, it was 10 minutes. It was 10 rounds. I took the yoke. I worked up to 400 pounds, which is not heavy. So I carry it 60 feet down, turn around, carry it 60 feet back for time. Okay. Now I've got 1 minute rest. Now I do it again. I did 10 sets of that. Okay. Now by the end of it, you're winded. You're winded. But now what am I getting? What am I working on? I'll work on foot speed. Okay. So now that's my conditioning. Now, if I was training one of my athletes, let's say Trey, for example, in between sets, I give him a little more rest period, but in between sets, quick steps, thigh drives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why? It's all about decreasing ground contact, increasing stride frequency. Okay, well, how do you go faster? Well, you decrease ground contact and you increase frequency. Not rocket science here. Now, for him also, because a lot of those movements are more shuffly, we might throw in a shuffle down. So it's very fast motion. So you're really trying to train that to become quicker, more steps. Now obviously more steps in stride. Now we can move in stride length. That's a whole nother story. I've done it before. I've done like literally shuffle down, straight leg shuffle downs with a naked yoke on my back. With 200 pounds on my back.
That's insane.
Why did I do that? Because I want to increase my stride frequency once I'm under the load. Because at the end of the day, who wins? The guy who's the fastest. Now part of that, you got to be strong. So you have to be strong. So if it's let's say it's a max yoke, like the last time I did a yoke at 2017 Worlds, it was 1,000-pound yoke for 60 feet. Okay, now I ended up not doing the show because I got banged up before and I didn't do it. But my best time on that was 24 seconds, which was pretty damn good. Now, what was I doing before that? I was doing a lot of speed work. I would only do maximal runs occasionally because it's too detrimental on your body, especially when you're still trying to do the other events.
So I've got a question, Chad, and this is very strongman specific. I know it's a strength. There'll be some general stuff. I'm sure if people are listening, they have a semblance of critical thinking. You're getting a lot of takeaways here for just general strength-based athletes. But for strongman specifically, where's the line between doing the events for conditioning and, like you said, with Trey, like he uses the ergs, right? Like he'll use like the skier, he'll use the rower. Like that's not a strongman move, like condition event, or that's not a strongman event. But where is the line for you as someone who's done it? But where like if someone is just like, I just do my events, like we see this all the time with athletes, right? Oh, I just play basketball for my conditioning. I just play football for my conditioning. I just do my events, Chad, for conditioning. What do you say?
And my question is, how's that working for you? That's always I'm always coming back. How's that? Hey, you're already winning. Well, you're winning. Okay, but if you're not winning, why? Okay, how long does it take? Here's the thing. I look at this. How long does it take after a maximum effort event? How long does it take to your heart rate to return to normal? The better condition you are, the faster it is. The faster that is, the better you recover for the next event. Or if you're let's say you're a football player. Well, hell, we know the average play is 6 seconds in duration. Okay, and you got 35 seconds of rest. Well, how are we training these kids? Right? Okay, how much, when it comes to specific conditioning, how much conditioning do they need to do? Do we need to be running 110-yard sprints after practice? I love that shit, by the way. That's great. We're doing wind sprints. No, you're not. You're not making, because I dealt with a coach the other day. It's like, yeah, I want to do the whole practice and we're going to run sprints at the end of practice. Like, if you want to get your kids faster, run sprints in the beginning when they're fresh, because it's technical. Okay. After you've had a 3-hour practice and now you're going to go condition again, all of our coaches did it because they didn't know any better. Yeah. If you look now, what's the trend now? What is the true trend of good coaching? Do just enough to stimulate what I need and get the hell out. Don't beat your athletes up. If you look, who's going to win in the national championships next week? So who's going to win? Is it going to be IU or is it going to be, Miami? I think it's going to be the team that comes in that's the freshest, that is fast, and obviously the preparation. And both those teams have had a great run. But I will look at IU. They do just enough, and then they get the hell out. Mm-hmm. So they're playing, again, I will say this, and again, I'm a Purdue guy, so it's not like I'm really happy about IU. I'm happy that there's a Big Ten team. I'm happy that there's no SEC team. Actually, not really. I like the SEC. I just get sick of people saying how they're the greatest conference ever, which, if we took the last 20 years, they are. You go back 50, not so much so. Yeah. So we can look at history. It's whatever.
You take out the Saban era. I don't know if the SEC,
Well, I mean,
he's not a football.
And again, he's a
dog, and Signetti
is a dog. That's the best coach. I mean, that's the best coach. And if you look at Signetti or look at all these other guys that came out of his lineage, what are they doing? They're taking excellence to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the true. If you look at what's the legacy of a good coach, their coaching tree. And I look at my coaching tree and I'm like, man, wow, there's a lot of cats out there doing the same stuff I'm doing.
That's why it's Train and Talk with Chad Coy. Not Train and Talk with Casey Leeds. Train and Talk with Chad Coy.
No, I've just been around a lot longer than you. Give it in 20 years, you'll be the guy. So, but when you look at conditioning and all that, how do you play it all together? I mean, there's 7 days in a week. You have a 7-day training program. You build that over 8 days, 10 days. What does your client do? How much time do they have? What's their off day look like? I mean, I look at like Trey's off days, he's putting in his steps. He's doing recovery work. Mm-hmm. So what do people do? Like right now, you strength train and you're running and you're doing other conditioning. I hate to use the cardio. It's like I know I say cardio synonymously in this case, right? Conditioning, cardiovascular work. Because there's people who listen to this and they might be like, well, conditioning is blank, cardio is blank. In this general sense, I hope people can take away, like, we're talking conditioning principles, and it can be your cardio, like long-term aerobic work or a long duration aerobic session. It can be short anaerobic. It can be a lot of different things. But for the sake of this conversation, I hope people, if they want to take something from it, just lump it all into the same umbrella and just listen, right? Like that's what I mean by it. But you look, again, I look at energy substrates. So you look at the phosphagen system, the anaerobic system, the aerobic system, oxidative system. Those are the systems. Those are the systems. So you look at from an energy substrate, you look at the phosphagen system. How much phosphagen system is there? Again, we can debate this. Up to 30. Is it up to 30 seconds? Some people say yes. Some people say no. do creatine phosphate stores playing there? Is that where you take creatine? Now you got extra, you get this, you get a little extra work there. That's fine. Are you training in that mode? That's your power, that's your strength, that's your explosiveness. Okay, then you're looking at anaerobic. Well, anywhere from 30 seconds up to, some people will debate. I say 90 seconds tops. 90 seconds.
Yeah, hockey shift. The hockey shift.
Now you go into aerobic, which is different. So anaerobic, you're burning glycogen, you're burning muscle glycogen without the presence of oxygen. That's where you get a lot of, and I don't want to call it lactic acid. It's the metabolites of exercise that some people call it lactic acid. Let's just table that for now. You're making a lot of metabolic waste that your body can't get rid of real quick.
Yep.
That's why we want to learn we want to train there so your body knows how to dump that faster, if that makes sense. I'm trying to keep science stuff out of it. Then you're looking at aerobic activity. Well, that's a little bit lower. I mean, it's obviously higher than oxidative, but lower than anaerobic. So you've got a capacity there. So can we work on that? So I don't know if we talk to zones. I don't know what zone that was. I think zone 3
probably starts there.
It's been a long time since
I feel like in 2026, I will say 2026, in today's day and age, when you it's so deep now, it is so granular that when you talk like aerobic system, I feel like it's a whole different realm versus when you talk about like a glycolytic system and down to like the phosphate system, like that's its own beast. Aerobically, that's its own beast. They speak to each other. That's sports, but it's its own. It can get so granular with like anything else can.
You look at developing athletes. If you don't develop all 4 energy substrates, you're leaving something on tip. Because you look at that long, slow distance movement, the oxidative movement, that teaches your body. I mean, that builds capillary beds. That helps you with recovery. You go out for a walk. I mean, hell, eat dinner, go for a walk. Well, you handle blood glucose better. Yeah. Okay. There's so much. All that stuff should be built in. So how do you build it in? Pre-workout stuff, post-workout stuff. Off day training, which is really, that's where I put in all the oxidative work. Go for a walk.
I like the way you said for like, you use Trey as your example, like on his off days, he's doing recovery work. I like the phrase recovery work. I didn't want that to go overstated or understated rather from earlier, because it doesn't mean he's just sitting around with his feet up. Like he's doing the work that is to him at an intensity that elicits recovery. And for someone who's generally untrained, that could mean they just sit with their feet up. If you're like a very low level, like entry level novice lifter, it could just mean you're physically not doing anything, letting your body accumulate to the stress. But for someone like Trey, who's like an experienced athlete, such as yourself, an experienced athlete, like recovery work is going to enhance recovery that just sitting around it's not going to help anyone at your level, at least.
And I'm going to say this, and even in the novice, sitting around is going to do nothing because all that metabolic waste just sits in the muscles and just it bogs down. So, if I tell anybody, it's like, hey, I'm sore, I can't train today. Well, yeah, you can. Yeah. Okay, you're sore. You're sore. You didn't break your leg. Your muscles are sore. Go move. You'll feel better. And I always say this. So then they go do it, and they're like, yeah, coach, I feel better. I'm like, yeah. You want to know why? Because it's kind of like this. I always play it like this. Hey, you had this great meal. There were some leftovers. You threw them in the trash. 2 days later, what's that smell like?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the workout. You did this great workout. The next day, man, you're sore. Your legs are a little sore. It's like, I'm not going to do anything today because I'm sore. So what happens the next day? You're more sore.
Yeah.
If you just went for a damn walk, you'd probably feel better. Yeah. And then how are you getting your steps in? I mean, how many steps are you supposed to get every day?
I see 7,500. 7,500 shows better all-cause mortality.
But I'm like this. You should be doing low-level,
at least get them
oxidative work all the time. Mm-hmm. So, like for me, and I'll give myself for example, I got a sauna at home. So Kamar, like I'm trained 2 days back to back, which is normally not the case. But I'm doing an on-site in California this weekend, so I probably won't be able to train. Because believe it or not, you think California, they're more progressive. They're going to have gyms. Gyms going to be open 24 hours a day. They're going to open early in the morning. No, they don't open until 8 o'clock in the morning. So I won't be able to train.
Yeah, the weekends. Yeah.
Yeah. So Saturday, Sunday, I can't train. It drives me nuts. The hotel, I'm sure, has a cardio, so I'll go do cardio. But for a normal day, like I would get up. So again, just adjusting my schedule. Let's say my normal schedule. So Mondays, I get up, I hit the sauna for 20 minutes, and I do yoga. Yeah. So that's my yoga.
I want to see the video. Let's see Flexi Chad.
No, you don't want to see it. This is ugly.
Quick aside, do you remember, this was the Parisi Summit, like, God, it has to have been, it was pre-COVID, 2018. I don't know where we were. Maybe it was Nashville. Was it Lee Burton put you through the FMS?
No, that was in New Jersey. Yeah.
Was that like 2016, 2017?
That was like 2016. Sure it was 2016.
I remember watching you do the FMS screen, and I think you scored like a 5, maybe.
No, come on. I scored a 7.
Okay, so yeah, there's 7 tests, so you got a point on every. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was one that you got like a pain reaction on, so you got a 0 on it, but yeah, like it was legendary, by the way. Just if you guys could just imagine Chad getting these crazy positions, hilarious.
So what's crazy on that? Like he goes, well, I felt so bad. He goes, dude, half the NFL fails this test.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. You don't like. It's not. That's not the point. We can do a whole. I'm pro FMS. I think it does a great job, especially commercial trainer, like in a commercial gym. You at least you protect people from themselves. Like you protect trainers from doing dumb shit that hurts the client. So if you just look at it from that lens, it's instantly worth it. But yeah, no, like the idea of like pro athletes, like, you know, I don't want to say like an O lineman is a one-trick pony, but they're not paid to do an inline lunge.
Exactly.
You know, so it is what it is, but it's not the end all be all by any means.
You know, the test for that, like, hey, let's put a pad on your chest. Let's see how much force he punches with one hand.
Exactly.
Let's see what that one's like. That's a totally different beast. So,
but you mentioned yoga, and the first thing I think about was trying to watch you do like an inline lunge on a 6-inch PVC board, and just hilarious.
Hey, you know what? I laugh. I call it Chad yoga because it's like, you get out and I do the sauna first. So 20 minutes in the sauna, so I'm really hot.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously I could go to hot yoga, but I can't do that in my house at 6 a.m. So I'll go do that 20 minutes. That's 40 minutes. What did that do for me? Okay. I trained my mobility. I worked through some soreness. I got some garbage out. Tuesday, I go train. So that has aerobic capacity up front. And then I put some conditioning at the end. So I physically train Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. I've gone to 3 days now because it allows me to recover better. I mean, I think the thing is, as I've gotten older, I don't recover like I used to. So now I train upper, lower, and it just splits. So in a 2-week period, I'll train 3 uppers, 3 lowers. So it allows me enough variance, but it also allows me enough time to recover. Training lower twice a week and upper twice a week and doing dynamic effort. I just got to the point where I can't recover from it anymore. And it allows me to do other stuff. So like Wednesday is always a body work day. So I'll go to my body worker and she works about 90 minutes and that's a cardio band day. So I'll go do some cardio and then do a bunch of band work just to get blood flowing and get the garbage moved out. Thursday, oxidative, just go for, let's walk, bike, whatever, 30 to 45 minutes of just movement. And again, I'll probably do a little mobility work after that. I mean, as I got older, I had to do more mobility work. Friday, then come back in and train again. There's something up front, something at the end. There's always conditioning. Saturday is another sauna, yoga. That's a walk day. Also, I might go to the gym. If my wife's going to the gym, I might go with her and just do a bunch of mobility stuff and band work. Like I do a ton of what I call feeder work. So if I sit here and do 200, banded presses, it gets a lot of blood in the body. It doesn't count. It doesn't hurt my recovery. It's not like I can't recover from it. It doesn't hurt me. Now, if it affects my workout the next day, then I just, I got to pull that back a little bit. Yeah. And I'll train again on Sunday. So that's usually my normal week. There's one full day in recovery. One day I don't do anything. But other than that, you got to keep moving. Now, I will say, as I've got...
I have a little, and shout out to you, Chad, because people, I'm sure, know this if they've listened to the podcast. I don't always send questions to people. I literally have Chad just off the cuff. I think I talked to you on the phone yesterday or Monday. I was like, hey, I want to just talk about this. And I answered like one general, I was like, yeah, conditioning, strength-based athlete. I have a list of like 15 different talking points because I come prepared. And I know Chad can lob this out of the park. But it is, it's funny how many you just covered without even knowing I was gonna ask. I'm like, okay, we got heart rate stuff, we got some mobility based thing. Okay, all right.
Well, I think there's just so much in there.
It's a very
so
broad topic. I like that. I like that.
It's
start
so
broad and get specific.
And again, then it's like everyone's in a different spot. You can't, and that's the thing. Like so many coaches want to have like again from a programmatic standpoint. I'm going to program. I've got whatever 12 kids or 12 adults. It doesn't matter. Like the athletes that are coming in, whether adults or kids, I've got to write a program that hits that does 90% for all of them.
Yeah, we got to check all the boxes.
You're checking the boxes. Now, that's why when parents ask me or coaches, what's the best? I go, one-on-one training's the best because you have 100% of my focus. Now, if it's me and 2 kids or me and 4 kids or me, now there's a whole group or there's a team. Well, you have to write the programming for the masses. It's kind of like education, or you educate the A kid, the C kid, or the B kid. Well, you kind of get it in the middle. You kind of get a little both. But I think from a conditioning standpoint, that's where every athlete's different. When you write a blanket program, like everyone's going to do this, does everyone need that? Mm-hmm. And that's where I think for me, like if I pulled up all my clients and I just pulled up my trainer book and you looked at all the conditioning, it's all over the board. Mm-hmm. There's so much different stuff there. Well, why? Well, because they're in a different spot. Now, Joe calls it, and I always give back Joe the credit. He calls it meathead metabolics, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. If you follow him on like Instagram, he's always sharing his workouts, and he's always calling them meathead metabolics.
And he shares Thomas. Thomas Evans was a D1 football player who made it to the league, didn't play, and now is transitioned to strongman, and he's a D1 strength coach. He's got toys galore. But if you watch what is he doing? Like right now, because of this show where he's getting ready, because he's doing the Arnold Classic as well. I'm part of. Again, Joe's the head coach. I would be essentially the position coach. So I just give strongman advice. And the best part is, I will say this, and I give kudos to Joe. He brought me on the team. I've learned so much just from him just from him in general for the last several years, but in the last 9 months with Thomas's training, and I only give it strongman advice, and then it like at the schmo, I kind of handled Trey and Thomas, just got him ready for the show and all the stuff at the show. But I've learned so much from him. And the guy's, he's got a book coming out. It's a conditioning manual. I don't make any money off this. So when it comes out, I highly suggest you buy it. It's $20 or whatever. It's in your toolbox. Read it. It's got some great stuff. Coming back
on the conditioning side, there's not a lot of good resources on it. I can think of maybe like 2 books that are like good, like manual style.
It's very manual style, and it's concise, it's easy read. There's examples there. It's not everyone wants a program. It's not a program. It's a manual that gets Casey thinking. Because here's the thing, like he's given that to me. I read it, but again, I've been training with him for some time, and I've kind of gone on my own. I've made my own stuff up. Because like conditioning's conditioning. You're like I said, your heart doesn't know what the hell it's doing; it just knows it's beating. So like I'll do med ball stuff, med ball chest pass, med ball slams into some running, into some lateral, some change direction stuff. Like I'm doing more now. I'm trying to do more linear speed because I've got so many little things, niggles. My body doesn't work like it used to, so I'm practice that. Practice lateral motion. Practice moving laterally, maintaining the mechanic. Okay, build that in. So let's say I carry a sandbag, a 150 pound sandbag, 60 down, 60 back. Then I sprint down, back pedal back, sprint down. Well, let's say that takes 60 seconds. I rest 2 minutes and do it again. And how many sets? Or maybe it's set to where you're just going, and maybe it's a time period. Hey, I'm going to do like one of the workouts that I did last week. Was a farmer's walk. So I have farmers down, farmers back, and it was every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. So however faster I got it done, that was my rest period. Mm-hmm. That gets kind of brutal because by the last couple of sets, like my rest was like 10 seconds. So so then my conditioning's going to go up, but then my foot speed is down. But it really, again, now that's 10 minutes. I come back to that workout, but in what would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 workouts later, when I do that one again, I look back at those numbers. How do I improve? I get faster, or can I put more weight on the bar? And again, it's conditioning, so I'm not using low, like super heavy load. Hell, I might use 30%. But again, like I said, your body doesn't know whether, it just knows your heart rate's up. Now, the crazy thing on that workout, and I'm 57, so you can do the math on my max heart rate. My heart rate was, after the third set, stayed at 165 for the next 10 minutes. I mean, it was maxed.
It sounds so unenjoyable.
But it becomes this.
It's obviously effective, but sitting with your heart rate that high for that long, just, if anyone's ever done it, it's
Martin Rooney said this, and Martin said this. You got to become comfortable becoming uncomfortable. Yeah. So I'm kind of like the king of uncomfortable. I want to feel uncomfortable. I want to feel like, oh my God, is there an alien in my chest? Is it coming out?
Yeah.
If I did that, then I know I conditioned hard. But again, then monitor it. Are you recovering? Does it affect your strength training? Like my workout this morning, I did my workout this morning. So I go in the gym, I did my self-myofascial release. So I foam rolled, I gunned, and it was an upper body workout. I got my heart rate up. So I go over to the bike. It was 60 seconds of a decent pace. It was like 20 miles an hour, which on an echo bike, that's not that super fast, but then it's like, okay, now it's 30 seconds all out sprint. Okay. So you think that's 90 seconds. How many of those did I do? I did 5 of them. 5. It really wasn't that long. That's 7.5 minutes worth of work. Dude, I was drenched and sucking gas. And then I go and grab my bands, and then I did my entire readiness, upper body readiness, in about 15 minutes, but there's no stopping. So my heart rate stayed high the whole time.
Yeah.
So my heart rate's high for 25, close to 25 minutes. Was there a conditioning factor there? A little bit.
Absolutely.
Then I trained my upper body, but and I hit the numbers I was supposed to, pushed into a few things, had a good workout. At the end of the workout, what'd I do? Well, now the sled's sitting there, and it's 60 down, 60 back, and I just pushed the sled down, dragged the sled back, pushed the sled down, and I did 10 rounds, and it took me about 7 minutes. And again, my heart rate was up. Workout's done. Came home. Or my traditional come home after the workout. I grab my post-workout shake. I go sit in the sauna for 20 minutes and bake off some of that garbage. And that's really helped my recovery. I'm too big a sissy. I got an ice bath out in the garage, but I haven't unpacked it yet. We moved here over a year ago, but I haven't unpacked it yet. It's just no.
It's just, the saunas feel good. I mean, I'm not a cold guy. I don't love getting into the cold tub, but I'll sit.
I know
in the
they work.
Honestly,
I hate the ice tub.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Some people love it. I don't. I'm not a big.
I hate it. I make myself do it. It definitely helps. I've learned a lot on how to use it. It definitely makes a difference. But again, you're looking at that. Can I go for a walk later? Can I do anything? Right now, obviously it's winter. It's snowing outside. Do I really want to go for a walk? Well, if it was summertime, I've done all this, and at night I go for a half-hour walk. So bang those in. And again, that's oxidative work.
Yeah.
Now, if in a perfect world, I probably need to throw in a field day where I'm doing nothing but But where do you stick that in? How do you recover?
Right now in the winter, you don't.
Well, the nice thing at the gym has 75 feet was a turf.
Oh, you fancy? I don't have. I'm in the gym right now. I don't have that space, so it's summertime. That's when I get that in. Chad, but again, I do have one question for you. I do want to interrupt you because I do want to ask this, and while it's relevant, before we get too far away from it, do you have a favorite? It doesn't matter what it trains, but do you have a go-to favorite conditioning workout that you like to do? And will you share it with us?
Echo bike half-mile sprints. With two and maximum effort, half-mile sprints, 2-minute breaks, and I like to do it with a partner. And who quits first?
You said that way too fast. And I remember when we were in Arizona last year, you tried to get me to do that.
Yeah, because it's fun.
It's something. It's something.
It's wrong. It's just, you embrace the suck. And I look at it like this. I can go out and hit a 50-second echo mile, half mile echo bike pretty much anywhere I time I want. Okay. Is it going to hurt? Yeah, it's going to hurt, but I can do it. Now I can force myself. Now, I can't beat a lot of the guys I train with. I can't beat them on much of anything anymore. But when they really piss me off, like, all right, here we go. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's get on the bike. Like, I will win because I'm meaner than you. No other reason. I'm just meaner.
Echo bike is brutal. Have you seen the videos of Eddie Hall doing the Echo bike? I think it's Eddie Hall.
Eddie, any of those guys. I mean,
Rogue puts some videos up. I mean, it's just gross. It's like the 50-calorie challenge that they do. I believe Eddie Hall did it in like, I want to say in the 20s, 20 seconds. I don't know, but something wild.
I don't know. I'd have to, you know what? We're laughing because let me look at this because it's in here. As Trey just sent it.
This is not sponsored by Rogue, by the way. We are very fond of the Echo bike. Not sponsored.
Rogue. Echo bike, assault bag. I don't care. They all suck.
The fan bike, double resistance, baby. Resistance on the hands, resistance on the legs. Does wonders for the body.
Here, this is. Trey literally just texted this to me about an hour ago. So he had half mile Echo bike sprints.
Oh, you
averaged 32 half mile. And these were not supposed to be pushed super hard. Half mile, 59 seconds, burning 29 calories on one. And the other was it's the same calories, same speed, or same calories, same time, but the speed was about a minute off, or about a minute off, a mile an hour off. But one had a cadence of 83, the other had a cadence of 87. Again, all I wanted there was consistent. And this was 2 that he sent me, but I think he had 8 today. And that's just conditioning. That's his conditioning. And then obviously when he's done, the hell is today? This is after an upper body workout. So then he had a recovery work and he's done. And he goes for like later today. I want to say he's got several, like a 30-minute walk after dinner. So he eats dinner and goes for a walk. That's your blood glucose. I mean, I mean, look, Mark Bell's huge on the 10-minute walk.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I mean, just for like regulating digestive tract, everything, regulating blood sugars. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's like general health. I mean, we're talking about like a big man. Big man is going to benefit from that walk.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the Echo bike, that's one of probably my personal favorite. I love building stuff into I build shit into working out while I'm training. So when I was in Colombia, I would just, every 5 minutes, I've got an alarm that goes off and I have to go push the sled down and back in the middle of the workout just to spike my heart rate. Or I would do that with the bike. Every 10 minutes during this workout, and it's a 2-hour planned workout, that's 12 half-mile bike sprints.
Yep.
That spikes your heart rate. But you're building it. I build it in because I'm kind of like the lazy guy. I want to I can't stand around. So,
I do the inverse of that with my Gen Pop clients, where they'll be on the whatever bike, right? Echo Assault, where they're on it for call it 40 minutes after a warm up, and every 2 to 4 minutes they might get off it and go do push-ups or rows or something. Like we flip it. So they're on the bike, off the bike, on the bike, off the bike. And they're just slow dripping aerobic work. They're constantly they're not necessarily working at high thresholds. It's again, the GPP version, the Gen Pop, adult, just in the gym after work type client. That ends up working really well. It's a big bang for your buck, time effectiveness.
I put that in my recovery days.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the gym and I do bands. Again, banded pull downs, banded rows, banded uprights, banded chest presses. Just get blood in the body and ride the bike. And maybe I'm doing I love Cossack squats and I love lunges. So I might just go I'm going to do 10 lunges. I'm going to do 10 Cossack squats in here with this work. And this all takes 30 minutes. Maybe I get 5, 6, 8, 10 or whatever number of rounds I can get in, however I do it. It's just keeping my heart rate up. And that becomes low level, depending on where it's at. From is it oxidative, aerobic, is anaerobic? I look at most of that for me becomes very aerobic work because it keeps my heart rate higher. if you're looking at that anaerobic capacity, you're looking, for me, that's like 160. So I'm probably, 135 to 150 is where I can keep that in there.
Yeah.
Now, if I go under 135, get down to oxidative, it's under 110 beats a minute. That's nothing. I can carry on a conversation. Aerobically, I can generally carry on a conversation. The oxidative stuff or the anaerobic stuff, I'm like, but yeah, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just about to die.
Are you ready for a speed round?
Yeah, let's do it.
An OG Casey speed round.
Do a speed round. Let's do it.
Okay, super fast. Just a handful of questions. Favorite strongman event you've ever done?
Like as an event, like yoke, farmers drags.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite? Both.
Favorite event. Was this currently, or is this when I was actually good?
Both. It's a speed round, Chad. Speed round.
Okay. Currently, I'd rather squat than do anything because I'm still good.
Okay.
Okay. When I was really competitive before my bike started to fall apart, any medley, if it was a multi-part medley or it was a loading or something like that, because that's about tenacity. It's not always about speed. I mean, I lived my entire strongman career on technique and speed and just being able to flip that switch and go, full on Ben Stiller and what was the movie with him and Jack Black and
Zoolander.
No,
damn,
the Army movie. I can't remember.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder. So you can't go like if and again, guys, because this is
don't say it. Don't say it.
It's referencing a movie, so it's okay. I have the ability.
Don't say it. Don't say it. No, don't.
Okay, I have the ability to go full Ben Stiller. Then how's that?
Okay.
In his character.
Don't make poor Josh Bushke have to edit this. Come on.
Okay, fine.
We like.
So that was my gig. Now I'd rather squat than anything. Back then, I'd rather do any type of medley because it's usually the big guys quit.
I'm going to pull this.
So
that's
favorite
intro clip for that.
Favorite event in a contest. Favorite contest ever?
Like a Grateful Dead concert, baby. Give me the year. Give me the location. 95, Croatia.
Well, I would put two equally. 2003 North American Strongman Championships in Regina, Saskatchewan. I got second. John Anderson won, and went on to have a phenomenal career. And he's retired, and I'm still doing this shit 23 years later. So there's that one. And then 2013 Masters World Strongest Man, where I got second there to Mike Saunders. That was but they're two great shows because they had great people at great events, great athletes. I got second in both of them. So, but if I had to pick one, I would say Worlds in 2013. It was a knockdown drag out. It went to the final event. Mike won, and I get a little emotional. Think about this.
We're not crying on this podcast.
I was so happy for Mike because Mike won. And, I've competed against Mike in the North American circuit and stuff, and we were friends. And, we went toe to toe. I mean, he beat me by hundreds of a second in the stones. He beat me by tenths of a second in the power stairs. I beat him on this event. He beat me on that event. It was dynamic the whole day. I came out of the last event, and it was like, whoever wins this event wins the show, because we were the last two guys to go.
Yeah.
And I wanted to win Worlds so bad. I mean, I wanted to win Worlds so bad. I mean, again, honestly, both those contests, John Anderson beat me in the North Americans. And what I do, I tackled him. I tackled him, man. I'm hugging him to death, man. He's like, what are you doing? I'm so happy for you. He goes, dude, you just lost. I go, but you just won. And that's the same thing with Mike. Like you lost World's Strongest Man. Are you not upset? I go, hell no, I'm not upset. I brought my best package. I left it all on the field. I got beat by a superior athlete. How can I be upset? I'm so happy for Mike. And I said, I will tell you this. I go, you know what? Normally I take a week off. I'm not. I'm going home. I'll be training in the gym on Friday. This is on a Sunday. I'll be in the gym on Friday because I 2014, I'm going to bring the best package I can now. 2014, America's Strongest Masters, crushed everybody. I was in the best shape of my life. picked up a few injuries and went to Worlds, and then, had several injuries. That's just part of the sport. But those two contests, by far the best. Great memories, great friends with those guys to this day.
I love it.
Just,
17 was a great set. I love it.
It was great. Now,
favorite food post competition after the meet. What are you eating?
Well, that depends on where you're at. If you're in Canada,
give me something. What are you looking for?
If you're in Canada, you don't get poutine. You're not even right, man.
I guess it's true. It does depend. For those that don't know, and I don't know why you would know, but if you train early on when I first met Chad, I believe we pushed a prowler a mile. And then he was like, you train and then we eat, and it was like, you train with Chad, you get to eat with Chad. And if you get to eat with Chad, it's a good time. You earned it because you trained with Chad. And I distinctly remember I've set my squat PR with you. I've set my trap bar deadlift PR with you, and I have pushed a prowler a mile with you.
Now, wait, we got to give credit where credit's due because Steve and Eric,
they didn't do the mile. That was just a relay. We got
we did that a mile. It was
was it? They were doing a mile with us.
We did a mile. Who was going to win it? And they were like, well, we're going to win it. I'm like, give me a break. Like I how
the camera just zoomed in on you as you said that. Your camera.
No, dude. I said, give me a break because you and I went, and it was like this. And all I did is I reeled them in, and we knew how far we had to go because that was in Morristown. That was a nice turf. Long turf. So you're down and back.
80-yard turf.
I think we ended up going 50 down, 50 back. So it was 100 yards. So we had to do I think we did 18 down and backs because that works out to be just a little over a mile. And it's we got to 13 or 14. I could see them languishing. So I started kicking into gear. Again, you got to learn some stuff, So we kicked it into gear. It's you were hurting pretty bad. It's I'm good.
Yeah, it was a very unenjoyable workout. It was very challenging.
It was kind of
wild. It was okay, but
then that night, actually, I remember because we ordered all that food. It's this is food porn. It's look at this, it's food porn.
So much, and I mean Jaws. Oh yeah, we had Jaws on the TV.
It was awesome.
We had the pizza and the brownies. It was insane. Protein bar or protein shake?
Favorite protein bar?
Well, which do you prefer, bar or shake?
I actually prefer food, but because I have to drink shakes, RTD or blended?
Either.
Okay, my personal favorite, cup of egg whites, a cup of Fairlife milk, a cup of egg whites, cup of Fairlife milk, and a scoop of whey protein. I got 3 different protein sources.
That's crazy. That's what is it, 80, 85 grams of protein? Depends on how much. I mean, depends on how much is the protein powder. I'm sure.
39, 24, 42, 62 grams of protein.
Damn, there you go, people. See, this is why we do the speed rounds, because you get little nuggets like that. Because you know what I'm gonna do now? That's what I'm gonna have a Chad shake. Chad, I know for me, I always look forward to training with you. I always look forward to the nuggets that I learn. Because I think, just listening to you talk training, I feel like those are some of the best ways to learn. Right? I don't know, I feel like you mentioned it a few times with Joe Ken, right? You just being around people who train a lot, you just pick up the nuggets that you can bring into your own training.
Oh yeah.
Right? That's that's the best part.
The one thing, if I can give advice to anyone who's coming to the summit or you're going to one of these events, you take the time and just ask questions and hang out with the people who are smarter than you. I mean, I will say this year, and again, Joe and I do a lot of stuff together. So we went to World's Strongest Man together because we have athletes there. We stayed in the same place. It was my wife's like, what'd you guys do? It's hung out, ate, did strongman stuff, and talked about traiing for a whole week. Awesome. I'm like,
that's awesome.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And I laughed because we got an Airbnb for the Arnolds. We got an Airbnb for World's Strongest Man this year. What are you guys going to do? Well, we go to the show, which is it's not very long. And then what do you do past that? Well, we go train, we talk training, we eat, we talk training, and we just talk training. And it's awesome. It's kind of do you remember when Dan Path was at the summit?
I do.
And I drove him around.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept asking questions. He finally looks up and goes, dude, do you ever shut the hell up? He literally said it. He goes, do you ever shut the hell up? I go, well, coach, I mean, I've got probably one of the greatest speed coaches on the planet in my car craft.
True.
I'm going to ask questions. I'm just going to ask questions.
I did the same thing. I picked him up from the hotel and drove him. And I was just like, I have 17 minutes with you, brother.
Exactly. So like, it's funny because I talked to Joe off the train. It's like, it's generally just we're talking about, well, our athlete, but then it's like, it's 9 times out of 10, it's just training. And it's just like, he's such a, like whenever you can get around someone who's such a wealth of knowledge and you don't ask questions, that's a mistake. I mean, and again, I've been very blessed to be around some of the greatest strength athletes, great strength coaches, like I just pick their brains.
That's it. That's what you should do. And it shows a lot of humility. I mean, we did the math early, right? You've done 5-figure, like crazy amount of sessions, right? Like you've trained the most of anyone that I know, and you're still putting yourself in that always learning mentality. And it's crazy in 2026, 2025, like you see people like they're above it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why wouldn't you go
invest in training? I invest in education at least $5,000 a year, every year, and have for the last 30 years. Why? Okay. How are you going to get better?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I will say this. The one thing I love about the Parisi Speed School system, when we go to Summit, like this, like, dude, you're a master coach and you've been here, you've done that. I'm like, yeah, but listen to these people. I mean, there's so many freaking people, even just teaching the cert. I mean, how many times have I taught the certification? Like, I'm ramping up for this weekend to teach it for the first time in 2026. So I'm going to put in probably 8 hours of practice going over material I've already presented, 100, 1,000, 10,000 times? I'm going to go do that. Why? And then I'm going to get there and there's going to be some young coach that's 25 years old that sees the world differently than I do. And I learned something from that cat. Like, dude, if you think you know everything, you're lost. Like, I look at this and sometimes I like pinch myself. Like, perfect example. We're at the strongman at the Shaw Classic, and Brian Shaw introduces the judges, which is Joe Ken, Van Hatfield, Mark Philippi, myself, and Ed Cohn. These are some of the best strength athletes and strength coaches on the planet. I'm feeling, I don't know the hell he's talking about. So I'm kind of like, here's Joe and I'm friends with all these guys. I've been friends forever. And they're like, what are you looking out for? I go, I just feel like an imposter. Like, shut the hell up, dude. You deserve to be up here just as much. I'm like, when it comes from guys like that saying that you're that good, like, wow, I don't see myself there.
Yeah.
I still see, honestly, if you really get down to it, I still see myself as that snot-nosed 15-year-old kid that was in his third year at the gym, going to the YMCA in Kokomo, trudging up 3 flights of stairs to go squat. And like, I didn't know shit then, and I feel like I don't know shit now. Now, I've done a lot of stuff, I've got a lot of education, but I still feel like I go to the gym to train and I learn stuff. Like I play with new movements and stuff, try new things.
Always evolving.
I've been training for over 40 years. What the hell are you going to learn new? I said, I don't know. I'm going to try.
Yeah. And that's the note we're going to end on right there. That is the positive note we're going to leave these beautiful humans listening to this podcast. Chad Coy, maybe the second most downloaded podcast after this one goes up, because you're already the first. So maybe now you'll be the first.
We'll find out. I'm looking
forward. We're going to make this reoccurring. We're going to do this
reoccurring. We do this every couple of weeks because this is fun. This is
training talk. We're going to talk stuff. We'll catch you after California. We'll debrief the cert. We'll talk about it. Training talk with Chad Coy. I'm so in. I'll just make sure I don't drink.
Hey, we're doing
a ton of stuff. We're doing crazy halfway through.
We're doing a football clinic on Monday. I get to train he said up to 40 kids. I get to train 40 kids on Monday for football.
Sick.
Like, wait a second. Pinch me. I died and went to heaven, man. I get to treat Coach Parisi. If I got to train Coach Parisi, coach football kids, and I got to eat, man, it'd be like a dungeon. You can shoot me. You can shoot me and call it a day. That'd be a perfect weekend.
We'll debrief it on the next pod.
Sounds good, man.